Supreme, and today's Astro Oracle investigation is on the Bradley sisters. Okay, these are two young girls. One is 3 years old and the other is 10 years old. So 3-year-old Diamond Bradley and 10-year-old Tianda Bradley were last seen July the 6th, 2001 in the south side of Chicago, Illinois home. Okay, it is an apartment building that the two young girls were left home alone in, and someone knocks at the door, and that was the last time they've ever been heard of or seen. Okay, so let's talk about this. All right. I pulled a planetary alignment of July the 6th, 2001. Okay. And I'm going to talk about all the information I do have. And then we're going to pull cards and get information from the planets. Okay. And we're going to find out what happened to 3-year-old Diamond and 10-year-old Tianda Bradley. Okay, so that day the mother goes to work, okay, and the sisters go to school. Tianda goes to school. She's the 10-year-old. She takes her 3-year-old sister Diamond with her. The school principal meets the kids at the school door and stops Tianda from bringing her 3-year-old little sister into the school, saying she can't do that. All right. So I have a lot of questions, but we're going to get to that. So no one knows what happens next. Okay. The mother does a wellness check throughout the day. Well, the girls did make it home. We do know that. Okay. I'm going to start shuffling as I'm conjuring up the energy. We do know that the girls made it home. Okay, and they stated that someone named George was knocking at the door. They told their mother, when the mother did the wellness check, the daughters were at home and told their mother someone named George was knocking at the door. So I'm quite sure the mother said, don't answer the door. You know, we all remember when we was 10, 3, and a lot of us were home by ourselves. You know, now, um, the mother arrives home to see a note on the table. No daughters were at home. She saw a note on the table, supposedly from Tiana, which is a 10-year-old, stating that they went to the grocery market and then the playground. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was 3 and 10, we couldn't go, especially if we was home by ourselves, we couldn't go nowhere. If we were left with our older sibling, we couldn't go nowhere until mama or daddy got home. So all of that, they went to the grocery market and then the playground. Like, this sounds like a 17 or 18-year-old kid. I could see that, but not a 10-year-old. So, even the aunt was saying, um, she was on the news talking about um, the daughters being home alone. I think that was the aunt that was talking. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I think that was either the aunt or the mother talking. But either way it go, I got enough information to be able to do my own investigation, Astro Oracle investigation. Okay, because I am a high-ranking Oracle, the minimum information works for me. Okay, because my antennas are sharp into the other side, which is where I'm going to pull answers from. Okay, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell button so you will be notified when I do these investigations. Okay, so we're going to start pulling cards. What happened to the Bradley sisters? Okay, even down to when Tianda, the 10-year-old, was going to school that day. I'm quite sure she goes to school every day. Now, the principal turned them around that day because she had her 3-year-old sister with her. So I'm thinking maybe, okay, that day the 3-year-old sister might have stayed home, or they didn't have the babysitter, or she wasn't in daycare. Because I'm quite sure the parent didn't leave her home by herself while Tiana went to school every day. So for Tiana to bring her little sister to school that day raises questions, and then the principal turned them around. So right then and there, the principal, who is a grown man and who principals hundreds of children a day, comes across a 10-year-old who he knows is supposed to be at school but cannot. He had to turn them around because she had her 3-year-old sister with her. So he knows that they're going back home alone. And we do know that they made it home because the mother did a wellness check. So I'm thinking that this George person was somebody that the principal had pull up to that house to find out. I need you to find out what's going on in that household. Why is she bringing her 3-year-old daughter to school? Now, this is just my speculation. I haven't pulled cards yet. This is just my natural, everyday, common sense human being thinking. Remember, this is a 10-year-old and a 3-year-old. I'm quite sure the person that was at the door was linked to somebody that knew that them two girls were home by themselves. I know the principal did not let that slide out of his head. Because if so, that raises other questions. Type of principals we got principal our children in these schools. So either way it went, the girls were never seen again. Today is June 5th, 2025. This was about 24, 25 years ago when these girls was last seen. So I want to know what happened to the Bradley sisters. I'm going to be looking in the third house of schools and the local environment, because it said that they were, the third house is where the grocery store is, where the playground is. That's where the school is that Tiana went to. I'm going to be looking inside of that house when I pull this chart, whatever chart comes out, because that's going to help me find some answers too. And I'm also going to look in the fifth house of children. Okay, and I'm also going to look in the 12th house, because anytime I'm up against something I don't know, all I have to do is look in the 12th house, and that will give me some keys. It will give me a dot that I can connect. Y'all know how I do my investigations. Okay, so this investigation right here is going to be done directly from the cards. Okay, I have my charts, and you will see them up on the screen because I know all of them by heart. It's in my head. That's how I think. Okay, so I don't have to keep pulling them out for you, and because y'all are watching my videos evolve. Okay, so a lot of times I'm gonna get straight to the point because I really don't want my videos to be more than an hour long. I'm trying to get them down to at least 30 minutes. So we'll see how that goes. There is a tutorial in the link below, because I'm going to stop explaining so much of why I see what I see. I'm just going to tell you what I see, and you can go through the tutorial for yourself and you can see why I see that. Okay, the tutorial in the link below is a video that you can go to, where you can click on any sign, any symbol, any house number, or any planet that you hear me talk about or that you see me point out in any of my charts or pull in any of my cards. So that way you can see how I formulate my story. We're here to bring answers. All right. What happened to the Bradley sisters? Leo in the 10th. Of course, this is a public case. that deals with children. That's exactly what this card is. Okay, so when Leo is in the 10th, Scorpio is rising. Okay, so being that Leo came out, let's look at where the sun is. Okay, I see a foreigner. I see a foreigner. Okay, I see a foreigner. Let's pull a crime. I'm gonna start off with my crime because I was getting ready to pull who. This is my crime deck. But right off the bat, I see a foreigner. Okay. Um, and this foreigner was in the local environment. This is a local authority figure. This could have been the authorities. Okay, but this is definitely a foreigner. And he was in the local environment. Okay. Um, it could have been a woman and it could have been a man. I'm not sure. But I do see a foreigner in the picture. Okay, the person that knocked on their door. Because in the third house, I see Capricorn. That's where the moon was that day. So I do see a foreigner. This could be Child Protective Services. This could be somebody from Child Protective Services. Okay? They do people dirty. They'll take your kids and won't tell you nothing about it. This could be an authority figure. The legal authority. The legal authorities. Okay? Um, they take children and they sell them to foreign countries for slave. They sell them into slavery, sex trafficking, human trafficking, or they kill them and take their organs. But I'm definitely seeing a government involved issue dealing with these children. But this is like this is some hidden activity going on where the government and the authorities are involved. They're just not giving away information that they should be giving away. Because I'm seeing an abuse of authority as well. Um, I'm definitely seeing human trafficking. I'm definitely seeing human trafficking. Domestic abuse. Okay, in the fourth house. Okay. Domestic abuse. All right. That's the house of home and family. That's the home and that's the family. Okay. Um, there could have been some domestic abuse going on in the home. Okay. Because I'm definitely seeing that. All right. Let's pull. Let's see who. This is my who deck. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing that this wasn't the best of homes that they come from. I don't think Tianda wrote that letter, and the woman that was speaking on the media, I don't know if that was her mother or her aunt, but she was saying that that's not even Tianda's verbiage. That's not even how she talks. The way the letter that was found on the table, and I believe her. I believe her. Um, yeah, this was somebody in a local environment. The conspirator is in the first house. That's Scorpio. This is somebody And this is one of their neighbors. Yeah, this is one of their neighbors who is a foreigner. Okay, and he is involved in human trafficking and sex trafficking of children. Okay, yeah, this is like a job for them. He belongs to a group of traffickers in that environment. This was a neighbor. This was somebody that knew they were home. Yeah, and he abducted them. Okay, but I feel like this neighbor is also an authority figure. They have legal power. I'm seeing that. This neighbor has legal power. I'm gonna pull another who, because of course there's more than one person involved. Yeah, this I'm seeing this person has legal power too. Yep. A witness in the second house. Yeah. hmm A witness is in the second house, and that's where Sagittarius is, and Mars was there. And that's how I know that this was sex trafficking and also human trafficking, but also this is a foreigner who can be selling these children. Okay? Now, let's get straight to the point of where their bodies are, dead or alive, lost and found. Okay? Where is the Bradley sisters? What happened to them? Where can we find them? Dead or alive, where can we find them? Something tells me they're no longer with us. Okay? Also, that day, it was a full moon that day. Yep, the sun was in Cancer and the moon was in Capricorn. Okay? Um, this was definitely a domestic issue. I'm seeing a grandmother. I don't know. I'm seeing a grandmother too. Not just a foreigner. The grandmother has something to do with that disappearance. Yep. The mother's mother has something to do with it. It could be the grandfather, but I'm seeing definitely the grandparent. The grandparent reported, has made reports on what's been going on in that household. I'm seeing that. Yep, I'm seeing that. It could be an aunt. Yeah, it could be an aunt because I'm also seeing, yeah, this could be an aunt or an uncle, one of the grandmother's other children. Yeah, the grandmother and her other child, which would be the Bradley sister's mother's sibling. I'm seeing them in the picture. I'm seeing the grandmother in the picture. I'm seeing the aunt in the picture. It could be the grandfather and the uncle, but I'm seeing the grandmother. I'm seeing the aunt. I'm seeing a lot of feminine energy. I'm seeing a lot of feminine energy, feminine concern. And I'm seeing a lot of hidden. activity. I'm seeing that. Where can the Bradley sisters be found? Location, the seventh house. They can be found in this foreigner's house, in the local environment. They're not far. They're not far. They're not far. They may, when they got abducted, they didn't go far. Possibly in that building. Yep, possibly in that building. I'm going to pull another lost and found. Possibly in that building. A body of water in the 12th house. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, we're getting somewhere. I don't think they're alive, but at least we're getting somewhere. And by now, this is 2025. This is about 24, 25 years later. This is around the time where we would most likely accept the fact that they might not no longer be with us. But here's the thing, and here's the synchronicity. The body of water in the 12th house, you see Libra, right? This is Libra's house, the 7th house, but Taurus is there. Both Libra and Taurus are ruled by Venus, okay? And Venus, July 6, 2001, was in Gemini. And then you see Gemini is in the 8th house. That is the house of death. Okay, so this is how I know the Bradley sisters sadly are no longer with us. Okay, they were lured. It wasn't by force. It was not by force. That's why it's so hard to detect what would have happened. Nobody heard anything. There were no screams or nothing. They were made comfortable to be lured into this neighbor's possession. Whether it's their home or wherever the neighbor took them, this happened in the local environment. This happened in the local environment. And remember, I told you I'm going to be looking in the 3rd house. Look what's in the 3rd house. The moon in Capricorn. That is where the moon was that day. Yeah, and this is an authority figure. Capricorn is the older person. This is an older person. This is an older child predator. Yeah. Domestic abuse. Yeah. This is somebody that lives in that community. Yep. And they are hiding behind a status. Like, this is somebody that has a legal standing. So this is somebody you wouldn't expect to be so sinister. They have a very controlled public image. And the community knows this individual. But this is the type of individual they least expect. They're not looking at him. And he's hiding in plain sight. The first card that was pulled, Leo, is plain sight. That's the sun. That's exposure. And it's in the 10th house of public standing. This is a known individual. But what they don't know is that this individual is the source of what happened to the Bradley sisters. This is also an individual that nobody would expect. They least expect this individual because they carry their public image so well. They look trusting. Yeah, they're no longer with us because Venus, which rules both of these cards that was pulled, are, yeah, I'm seeing, oh Lord, I'm seeing, I don't know, I'm hearing some music, and one of them got knocked unconscious while the other one was drowned. And then the other one became drowned while she was unconscious. And this all happened in the house, the apartment. I see sexual assault too. Definitely sexual assault, rape, molestation. These were kids. Sexual assault, violation. I'm seeing all of that. Evidence. I'm going to pull from my evidence deck. And let's see what kind of evidence comes out. Yes, I'm seeing that. All of this happened, but see, there's a body of water in the local environment. They're not far. They can be found in a body of water in the local environment. They're not far. So if there's any bodies of water uh, in that local environment, the south side of Chicago, I think the name of the neighborhood is Bronzeville. Once they search those bodies of water in Bronzeville, they will find the bodies of 3-year-old Diamond and 10-year-old Tianda Bradley. This is a sad case. Firearm evidence and weapons in the first house. Yeah, they were shot too. But there was a fight that took place. Firearm evidence and weapons in the first house. And that's where the conspirator is at. See that? This is Scorpio. This is Scorpio energy. Okay? This is where the predator is at. Yeah. Hmm. So we have a conspirator in the first house. We have a witness in the second house. There are two people involved. Let's find a suspect. I'm going to go back to my Who Dat to see if we can locate a suspect. Because we want a suspect. The witness could be a family member. Because the witness has a link to the foreigner and the grandmother. But who would want these two girls dead, especially in their family? Who would want them dead? Another conspirator on the ninth house. I knew that ninth house was going to come out. Yep, this is the grandmother. And this is also the foreigner, too. The grandmother and the foreigner may be two different people, but this is definitely the grandmother's house. And this is the house of foreigners. Okay? And this is where the sun was. July the 6th, 2001. It was in the ninth house. And remember, I told you the first card that was pulled was Leo. So I had to follow the sun. And the sun is in the ninth house. That's why I knew this is a foreigner. But it can also be the grandmother, too. Not saying that she's the suspect, but she's definitely a conspirator. I haven't heard anything about their grandparents. I don't know why I put that deck back. Because I'm still looking for a suspect. All right, let's see if we can locate this suspect. Okay. Who is responsible for the disappearance or the deaths and the deaths of the Bradley sisters? Victim is in the fifth house. So, of course, we know they're victims. This is the house of children. Okay, of course, we know they are victims. But there's a victim in the fifth house. But I believe this child is not Tiana or Diamond. This is another child that knows. Yeah, that's another child that knows. The victim is hiding, is being hidden. If it is one of them, then that means they're still alive. But I don't think they're still alive because that body of water would not have came out in the 12th house. And see, that body of water in the 12th house, that's where Libra is. But that's Pisces' house. And Pisces is right here. You see Pisces in the 5th house? And Neptune is in Aquarius, which is in the 4th house. That's where that domestic abuse took place. So this is somebody, this could be a friend of the family. This is somebody that knows the Bradley sisters' mother. Okay? The Bradley sisters, they know this individual. They knew this individual that took their life. Yep, they know this individual. This individual knows, and if they're still living, then they know the individual. Which I doubt that they're still living. An accomplice in the 7th house. That's where the location is. Yep, the accomplice is hidden. This is somebody that knows their family. Okay? Because this is Libra's house. And remember I told you Taurus is there. And both Taurus and Libra are ruled by Venus. Yeah, this is a neighbor. This is somebody that lives in that building, somebody that lives in that community, somebody that knows these girls and their mother and their families. Yep. Tell me what y'all think in the comments below. And I'm going to end this reading right here.